citations, give everybody else time to get in if it's not here. Anybody purpose citations? Let's start outside of the room I'm in. Christina, you have one?
Yep, I have a purpose citation, and I also brought a guest who purpose citations for. This is Nate in our receiving department.
Hey, Nate.
Hey, Nate.
Hey, Nate. Hello, everyone.
So Nate has been doing an amazing job transforming our warehouse. He organized the sheet metal aisle recently, the furnace filters, and even a couple years ago when he first started, he had organized Delta and Kohler, and so he's always taking the initiative to go above and beyond. So I want to get this in today.
Don't forget to scan that to me.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Mark, I have two.
Okay.
The first one's for Jason Seppi. Thank you for helping to get our TV set up for Zoom capabilities. You rock. Thank you very much. Second one is for Linda. Linda, you are so helpful, always giving a warm welcome, always providing solutions, and always promoting purpose. So thank you very much.
I got one for, well, she's not here, Abigail. She's been in the warehouse, and then I guess she's been wanting to come to the counter, and ever since she came to the counter, she's been organizing the HVAC self-pick and the parts behind the counter, and really made a big difference in taking the initiative. I noticed it, so.
I have two. I have one for Phil in Hartford, who I know is not here. I have a very big job that is going out of the Hartford warehouse, and Phil has been awesome emailing me when special order things come in to let me know if things are not exactly as they were on the PO, or to alert me that they got notification that things are coming in. So that's been great because I have somebody in their warehouse who's keeping tabs on things because I can't be there, and that's been huge. And I also have one for the ladies of the Waterbury showroom, Heather, Rachel, Barbara, and Liz. On Tuesday, Tori and I started the labeling of the Waterbury showroom product, like the showrooms, and Tina started in Hartford, and like we have in New Haven. And they were so incredibly welcoming and helpful with getting us, to a station that we could work at and answering questions if we had them. And it really just sang very loudly to me how much we are one team.
Anyone else?
So these are a little overdue. So Stephanie invites me always to her monthly meetings, and the last one you did, it was so motivational, so informative, so inclusive. It was really great to watch, and I thank you for always making me part of that team. I'm happy to be here with you. And then I get to Team Kirkland. The other one's to Mark. Mark, we've had some impromptu huddles, like if you will, and they've always been really great. They give me the tools to look at things differently, whether it's professionally or personally, and they really allow me to like reset and recharge, so thank you for that.
Anyone else? So I have three. One is for Rainey. We had a Excel sheet that we needed made up, and it was very, very sophisticated. It took a couple weeks, but what I was most impressed about is not only did he do it in a timely manner as far as time management for him, but he used resources he had outside of Bender to get the job done. And it's really, really an awesome spreadsheet that helps me, saves me probably half hour a week with something that the management team wants and me having to put together. So Randy, thank you very much. I have one for Linda Schaefer. We go through a workers' comp audit every year, which is daunting. I hate it. And Linda has been the project manager for that, and she's called me because she needs stuff from me, and I've been short and abrasive, and I just can't stand trying to get information that none of us know where to get it from. We have to rely on outside sources to get it, and she's been patient through the whole thing and put it together, and hopefully finished it up yesterday, but thank you, Linda. And I have one for Jason Seppi. This one's hard for me because we've gone through a lot in our office. And I feel like I created a bad atmosphere years ago. I know I did. And I allowed things to go on that shouldn't have. And Jason has done a tremendous job. I created anything that maybe everybody perceives him to be as not wanting to help. I feel I own that. And he's done a tremendous job trying to turn that around. And I got to tell you, this year end, with the management team putting the pressure on him that they did, and to see him execute the way he did, and challenge and handle it better than I've ever seen him handle, I'm just proud of him. I want to say that we did these purpose citations today, and something hit me. And I want James to talk about it for a minute. We've grown so big that a lot of this was information that we used to have our pulse on that I had no idea was happening. I'd like you to talk a little bit about what you saw out of that. I mean, this is like good information for us. We don't even know, we don't need to know everything that's going on like we used to. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Expand on that just a
So
little
like, Waterbury Show, maybe you knew about that one, right? I didn't know
Oh,
about
as
it.
far as
As far as us not even knowing what our team is doing to move the company forward. And maybe we don't need to know as much. And we talk about that a lot in executive management.
Yeah, in order to scale, which we're looking to do, you have to let go of the vine, basically, and that's what we're doing. And the projects or initiatives and flavors of the month that never really went full circle really was always stifled by us. And by allowing people allowing our team members to move things forward without micromanaging, I'm very impressed with the skill set that people have, and they've always had it. We've just never allowed people, team members to show that. So what it does is it just really it's to delegate and elevate, and delegate, and as you do it, because it's going to cascade down. Now you have other supervisors that are not used to empowering their team members and team members to team members. So it's not easy, but the more you do it and you see the wins, it gets much easier.
Thank you, James. So I sent a video out for Novartis in a commercial that they had, purpose-driven company. Purpose is all around America right now, and we're going to get into that in a second, but Susan, you got something to read?
I just wanted to introduce Tom
Oh, sorry.
McCormick,
It's on my
who
notes and I forgot.
is our newest member of the plumbing inside account manager sales team. So he's here in New Haven. He's already made his first branch visit to go see what's happening in other branches. Visited with Pete down in Norwalk to meet the team down there. So I want everyone to give him a warm welcome.
Sorry, it was on my notes and I lost the track somehow. Anyway, so everybody should have seen, or if you didn't, you can watch it after the commercial. Novartis is a purpose-driven company in the pharmaceutical trade. Very similar to what we're doing. There's different models of how to get to become a purpose-driven company. We are a purpose-driven company. And so we're going to watch a quick video, and then we're going to do an exercise after.
People will look at any organization and say, can I change everything? And the answer is no.
So great, Dan. It's wonderful to have you here at our leadership forum. I hope you know that your work and your thinking around motivation, around purpose, autonomy, and mastery has been influential for me as a leader. One of the things that struck me in our conversation earlier was around purpose. And you pointed out, and we're very proud to hear that we're a company that has an incredibly noble purpose. This big purpose: reimagine medicine, transform the lives of patients.
We have to look at purpose as not one thing, but two things. And one of them is this capital P purpose, which Novartis has in spades. It's baked right into the mission of what you do, to the products that you deliver to the world. But there's another dimension of purpose, which is just simply, am I making a contribution to my teammate? Am I making a contribution to getting this project out the door? If I didn't show up today, would someone notice? Would things not go as well? And that ends up being a powerful motivator for people.
One of the things that we're really working on is to move from a bossed culture to an unbossed culture. But one of the big things there is for leaders to unlearn old behaviors. So any advice on that?
Learning is really hard. Unlearning is even harder. If you're going to unlearn, you got to start small. If I want to learn how to speak Spanish, do I start by trying to read Don Quixote? No, I start by figuring out how to say hello, goodbye, and order a sandwich. So I think starting small, which sometimes we look down at, is really important.
One of the concepts I was really happy you've been getting across to our organization is that we don't do culture just to feel good, right? One of the things that we really drove home was culture drives performance.
Culture is not art. Culture is art. Culture is the essence of it. And so, if we think about it, culture is environmental. Culture is everything you do. And getting culture wrong is really harmful. It's almost like saying, oh yeah, there's this thing called oxygen. I can't see it, right? But it's there all the time. Yeah. And if it's not sufficient, then people start gasping for air. It's that essential.
One of the questions we often get is, how are we going to change the whole culture of Novartis from the top? But that doesn't seem to be the way actually organizations change in your view.
I think that the way that organizations change is through small wins. People will look at any organization and say, can I change everything? And the answer is no. Okay? Even if you're the CEO, unfortunately, the answer is no. You can't change everything. But it's the wrong question. The right question is, can I do one thing tomorrow in my own realm to make things better? And the answer to that question is almost always yes. And if you trace the evolution of a lot of these changes, they go back to people asking that question of themselves, coming up with an affirmative answer, and doing something. And then someone else sees, and she starts doing it. And someone else sees, and she starts doing it. And then eventually the people on top say, hey, I think something's going on here. And they bless it, and that's how real change happens.
That's exactly the approach we're trying to use with fix one thing.
I think that the simplicity of fix one thing works, because I fix one thing and you fix one thing and she fixes one thing, and it works.
If you had one thing you wanted to fix about leadership in the world, what would you want to fix?
Number one is, I can reduce to 4 words, which is talk less, listen more. I think a lot of times leaders think that leading is talking. Leading is listening, and we're not very good listeners. And so I found the best leaders I've worked with are extraordinarily good listeners. They stop, they deliberate, they take it all in, they synthesize. Second thing is change your default. Your starting premise should be that human beings are active, engaged, and curious, and eager to do great work. So talk less, listen more. Start with the premise that people are autonomous and trustworthy.
So the takeaways are talk less, listen more, give benefit of the doubt, right? That's been a huge one. These are all models that Lisa talked about over and over again with us as a team. And then fix one thing at a time. So we're gonna do an exercise. Break into as small or largest groups as you want. And we want to just list things that you guys can do to make a difference tomorrow, make a difference over the next week. What can we do? Fix one thing. What can we all do? And then I want everybody to do, and we're not going to share with each other what we're going to do. Hopefully next week we can talk about some success stories, but this isn't something that we have to share. This is what I'm working on. This is what I'm working on. Everybody should leave here today focused on one thing that they can do for their department, for vendor, for their team, that they can fix tomorrow or over the next week, or move the needle, and really, really focus on it over next week. So let's take 5 minutes, and then we'll recap, and if anybody wants to share anything, what they're gonna be working on, that's fine, but we don't have to share it. But we're breaking the groups, again, to be clear, make a list of things, just get creative with each other. Hey, we can do this, we can do that. And if the goal is for everybody to have one thing that they want to work on over the next week to help move the needle and fix something that you feel you can help fix. Any questions before we start? All right, rock it.
And I just want to ask, are you on the now? No, not yet.
What we're trying to do here is very different.
You know, they must.
We're ready to wrap up?
We're ready.
All right. So we're gonna close in a couple minutes, but I thought I would share mine with everybody, and then anybody else who wants to share what they're gonna be focused on this next week.
Just come right in.
Can I just say one thing?
John,
I'm
Can
sorry.
I say one thing? Something that I guess this side we're working on. James, you said something that was so eloquent, delegate to elevate. Like that is like, that just like hit us. That's poetry. Like that was like, I don't know. It was just like, and that's gonna stay with me. So, and I think us too, that was like, it was just, I don't know. I just had to kudos to that.
Yeah, one of the hardest things to do is to let go, right? Let go of what we do, right? That's really hard to do. And then let go and not micromanage is even harder to do. It's really, really hard to do that. So, and you know, feel free to, we're at the point now where if somebody's letting go, your supervisor's letting go, give you a project, and then they're micromanaging, approach them in a professional manner to let them know that you feel that way.
A and B it.
Yeah, really. I mean, we're all in this to really make better, so we gotta communicate. So I'm gonna share mine, and then anybody else would like to share theirs, fine, and you don't want to, that's also fine. I am going to, over the next week, and work on what I call give equal opportunity. And so to fix the problem is to allow everybody an opportunity to grow here at Benders. And one of my past patterns and one of my current patterns that I need to work on, and this is gonna help me, is if somebody in my mind, my perception has failed me in the past, or I don't feel that they're capable of doing something, I don't give them the opportunity of others. And so what that does for me is what I'm noticing is it really buries the people that I do feel are capable because I give them everything to do. So I need to start finding tasks and not going to the same person and splitting them up and giving people opportunity to grow within the company. So that's what I'm gonna focus on over the week. So my goal is to come up with 2 tasks and not give them to the normal person that I give them to, and give them to somebody else and to see how that goes. So, and does anybody else want to share what, or have conversation about what you guys talked about and what anybody's gonna be working on? I get it, it's tough to talk about what you're gonna be working on, but anybody, Mike?
Yeah, so Logan and I were talking with Susan, and in HVAC sales, we're gonna work on, using the pipeline, making sure that they follow up on quotes. I say we follow up on quotes.
So you're gonna work on that. What would, if we sat here next Friday, just small, right? Small wins, that's a huge thing. What are you gonna say, I succeeded on this week?
I'd like to hear, maybe come back with, maybe 1 or 2 of the guys having at least one callback, where they call back on a pipeline quote and give us, how did it work out for you? Did you land the sale, or did they say, okay, thank you, and you moved on?
So I like that. He's gonna focus on 2 salespeople and have 1 success story by next week. That would be success for us, right? That's a small one. Nice job. Awesome. Anyone else wanna share? Any conversation?
Up in Hartford, we talked about holding each other accountable for our team huddles. We are not steady about it, and so we're definitely going to do that next week, and then we're going to talk to each other about it and make sure that we've done it, just to kind of unify our team.
So what will success look like for you?
Having a huddle and talking about, for Tim, I think our success is just a little bit different, but the same concept, like for the warehouse, with multiple projects going on, getting everyone together so and everyone understands what projects they have going on. So that way, you don't have multiple people asking the same questions. And for the showroom, kind of the same thing. We're labeling our showroom right now with pricing. And so by having those huddles, we'll be able to talk about what our challenges are with that and making sure, we're not duplicating the same things.
Tim, when is your warehouse huddle?
I'm just going to do them randomly. I'll get when the drivers get back in this afternoon. I'm going to start today.
Okay.
And just run it out. I mean, we talk about how we stand around. We can talk about Monday morning. We'll stand around and talk about how the Patriots lost. But we can't spend those 5 minutes talking about actual business and what's going on. We get together and talk a lot. Everybody does at all the stores. Well, let's change the subject. Let's put the topic work-related a little more.
Tim, I'm gonna send you a huddle kind of toolkit, so look for that in your email today. You're welcome.
Anyone else? All right, do we have a volunteer to close? Max is obviously away, he's in Asia. For those of you who don't know, he's vacationing, and that's part of the goal here for people to be able to vacation and not have to worry about business as much as we do in the past. So hopefully he's enjoying himself and not as stressed out as he used to be. If not, Jason Sullivan's not doing his job correctly. Does any volunteers to close us out? Usually Max does.
Maybe you should let Jason close.
Jason, why don't you close us out there?
Jason, let's get that microphone.
All right, he just emailed me what to say, so I'm just gonna read that off of my email. No, guys, honestly, great meeting. Some great information out there. I love the dialogue between all of the branches, and I think it's really looking towards one team and all the branches being aligned through purpose and through these purpose meetings. So great information, great stuff to take back to the rest of our teams, and have a great weekend. Thank
Have
you.
a great weekend. High five, everyone. Good job.